What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into the new Lethal Cosmetics, Wildflower palette. So originally, y'all know last year they came out with one of my all-time favorite palettes, the Nightflower. So of course I'll start off by showing those side by side. I'm trying to remember how much I paid for the palette. I got mine from Camera Ready so it would show up sooner, but unfortunately now you can't use the code Teresa's dead at Camera Ready anymore, so I had to pay regular price. But you know, I didn't want to wait a million years for it to come from Berlin, so this is one time I was like excited about the color store, and I was like, yeah, we're just gonna get it now. So this is the Nightflower and this is the Wildflower. So here's what both of them look like side by side. As you can see, this still has a little bit of the grunge from the Nightflower. If I turn it over, you see it still has a little bit of grungy moment there, but it actually has some nice brighter pinks and neutral tones to go along with it as well. So this is what they look like side by side. If y'all see me stop and do something with my phone, it's because the palette is dropping this morning, the one from Matrix. So I definitely need to get my hands on that one. So if you notice me like go off camera or pause the camera or look at my phone, it's because when 8 o'clock comes, I'm gonna have to get out of that. So I got something I want to compare to this palette. Of course, I want to compare it to the other Lethal Cosmetics After Dark palette, just because I feel like it might have some similarities in there and it could be a good companion palette for it. So it has some more of the colorful mattes that kind of go with the matte, the shimmery green shade in there and some other stuff. So I'm gonna compare both those. Of course, my battery wants to die. It always wants to die whenever I start filming. It's like I'm sitting here all day turned off, all night turned off. But as soon as I come to film something, it has to start flashing. It's so annoying. Next one I have is Claws. So I feel like Claws would be a good companion palette as well, because I feel like that dark green will go nice with the mint green in here, and that pink tone can go with this nice pink tone here and make a nice little color story there. And if y'all remember, I got this one in PR for Christmas last year from the brand. And then I have the Sugar Hill palette from the same brand, Nars Cosmetics. And here's what they look like side by side. Again, I feel like this should be a good companion palette for this one, because it has some of the matte shades that match the shimmers in here that don't have matte shades necessarily go with them. And the last one I have to show is the Escape Pot. And again, I feel like this would be a good companion palette because it has some fun pops of color to go with the exciting shimmery mint shade. I mainly try to find some mattes I feel like would go nice with the shimmery shade in here and not just be blue and purple and a pop of mint. So those are the ones I found. If I find any more, I'll do a palette comparisons on a shorts for you all later on. It's just that's what I could think of at this time. So let me zoom in on real quick and keep right. To be curious what's on the face, I do have on the Estee Lauder Double Wear that I bought during the 21 Days of Beauty sale. I finally got around to put it on and I forgot how fire it is. So that's what I'm working with, and I have all Lethal face products on. So I have their blush, bronzer, and highlighter on my face as well, and that's what we're working out with. So I'm gonna go off camera, get my life in order, and then I'll be back. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, y'all. So this is the eye I went with the palette. I actually mixed both the palettes together. So I dipped into this shade, and this shade when it. It was like 4 shades. This one, and this one when it came to the Nightflower, just because I felt like it wasn't giving me enough depth in these shades and I want a little bit deeper. So I mixed the 2 darker purples together. I mixed these 2 lighter purples together, and then I put this mint shade on top of the shimmery Nightfall palette, and this shade was mixed with the light purple I used. So I had planned to use it alone, but I was just like, I don't know, I feel like this palette is lacking a couple of things for me, whereas the original Nightflower just gives me a little bit more of what I was looking for. So I had to make sure I got what I was looking for. I still didn't fully get what I was looking for, but we'll talk about that when we get to the part of the eye look that I'm doing where I feel like I didn't get what I wanted. So it has the same quality though as the other Lethal palettes. If you're curious, like everything blended out the same, nice and smooth. As you can see, the coloring looks quite nice on the eyes, and it blends easily. So it's not that, it's just some of the shimmers in here that I wasn't necessarily vibing with, if you will. As you can see, I wanted that little bit of like purplish undertone to go with all the purples and pinks I was using, so that's why I dipped into the Nightflower, because you saw they don't really have that in here. It's just more of like a neutrally like taupey-ish beige type shade, and I wanted a little bit of like the mauve-esque type shade that they have in the Nightflower palette. So that's why I started off mixing, because at first I was just like, I'll just use that shade, but I was like, I wanted a little bit more of a pop. Even though I feel like it got covered up once I started putting on my crease shades in and building it up, but I still feel like you can see like a little peak of it underneath there, and I wanted just more of the purple than I did of like a neutralist taupe shade, so that's what we went. Okay, so that looks good. We have blended it out quite a bit nice. Now let's get into the dark navy shade. So y'all know I was gonna put the darkest shade on the outer V, and I kind of wanted a colorful crease because I'm gonna use as many mattes as I could and shimmers as I could to get an idea of how I felt about it. So I actually used like I think 3 shimmers in this palette. I only used 1 from the other palette, and I'll explain why when we get to that part, like I said. But y'all, I didn't film anything yesterday. I'm so disappointed in myself. I usually like put on my makeup and film like all my intros and my content video, but like work was just like worse than usual this week. And then I still been going to the gym every day, and then I missed out on sleep for like a couple of days, like not even get my normal like 5 to 6 hours of sleep because I had to get up in the middle of the day and run errands and stuff. When you work at night, it's horrible trying to like go to the doctor and do stuff like that because you gotta randomly get up in the middle of the day, or like after I take Adrian to school, I gotta try to rush off to an appointment to go do something, and those take like 2 or 3 hours because doctors don't ever show up on time like they're supposed to. But if you don't show up on time, they're gonna have an attitude. Like, but you made people sit and wait for 20 and 30 minutes. But if they show up late, it's a huge deal to you. Why, if you always late for whatever it is you're showing up for? But you know, I digress. Anyway, now we're gonna mix the 2 purples together. So I start off with the lighter purple in the Night Flower palette, and then I just go to the more vibrant one in the new palette, which is the Wildflower, and then I kind of dip back and forth so I get like the coloring in which I was looking for, and then I just go over here. So this one I just mainly put toward the outer V, if you will, to kind of dust over here to kind of give that layered effect I like to give sometimes. So that's what we're doing today. As you can see, I just nicely dusting it over. Look a little more into the royal purple to get a tad bit more brightness, but I wanted it to mainly be deep with like a little bit of pop of brightness. So I think I accomplished that by dipping in back and forth just the right amount. So that's what we're working with on the outer V. I'm take the brush that we started off with, transition shade, and just kind of dust around. Try to smooth it in and blend it in and everything else, make it look a little more natural. And now we're gonna move on to the next set of colors. So I'm going to the 2 purples I told y'all about now. So I started off again with the lighter purple in the Night Flower palette, and then I dipped into the more purplish shade in the new palette, and then I just dip back and forth again to get the right combination of color. And now we're gonna start with this one in the crease. So and I'm gonna have to build it up, of course, because of like the coloring of it. So we'll be sitting here building for a little bit. I tried to put more of the deeper tone to it just because I feel like it has a more unique feel to the coloring of it, but I still wanted a little bit of that lighter shade as well. So I'm like trying to get a nice little happy medium going on, and I want it to peek through when I put the shimmer shade on like it is on that side. So I'm trying to make sure I bring it high enough too, because if you all remember, my eyes are 2 different shapes, so sometimes I feel like the eye looks look different because my eyes are 2 different shapes. I try to get as best I can to similarity, but sometimes it's higher up on this side because of the 2 different eye shapes I had going on. So just keep that in mind, like, because sometimes I be feeling like my eye looks be looking crazy, and I'm like, but your eyes are 2 different shapes, and you need to remind yourself that when you like feeling like it doesn't look exactly perfect, like the eyes are 2 different shapes, so they're not gonna look exactly the same and perfect because they're not exactly the same. That's something I've had to like come to accept. Like, since they're not the same shape, the eye look isn't gonna be the same shape. So just, you know, free yourself of that thought. Dust myself over here. Now we're gonna put the cute little pop of pink in the very front, because I had to use all the shimmers. I could have did 2 separate eye looks, but I was just like, I don't necessarily feel like doing 2 separate eye looks today, because I have like 4 palettes I'm trying to film with today. I'm trying to do a palette rewind of the Koi palette from, what's the brand? From Viziar, since they just came out with a mini one. I wanted to rewind on the full size one I had. Then I was trying to do a look with September Rose palette, like the last one they came out with, because this will be my first time trying the brand, and it might be something new and interesting to you all. So like, I'm trying to do that. Then I have a whole bunch of palettes sitting around that I was supposed to do palettes from the past and old school versus new schools, or just, you know, my top 10 favorite palettes from, and you know, all that sitting around too. So it's like I just got such variety to choose from sitting around here. So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to film next, but I want to get the main 4 done, And then I got like my favorite fragrance combination video coming this week too, so, or today too, so I got all those to do. I'm just taking this brush. You can see I didn't add any more product on it. I'm just trying to make it blend as best as I can, as naturally as it can, considering it's a hot pink going into a purple. So yeah, just trying to bear with me on that. Now y'all know the drill. We need to come grab the glitter glue real quick and cute like and go into the shimmers. And that's when I'll explain what I was talking about when I said I wasn't necessarily excited about this palette for that. But I'm trying to see, am I supposed to be buying something right now? Because I feel like I was supposed to be buying the palettes from Matrix now, so let me see. Because if it is, we're going to have to pause. Okay, now. So it must be 9 o'clock because it hasn't popped up yet on their website. Y'all can't be missing stuff like that. Especially since it's not a pre-order from us. She has them just readily available. I'm like, say less. So we're going to cut the glitter crease real quick. And hook that up around it. Okay, so what I did was I started off with this shade right here. So this is the base shade that's on the lid, and then I just put the mint colored shade on top of it because its swatch is totally different. So this is the combination of the blue shade with the mint shade on top. This is that purple shade that's at the top corner for the inner corner. This is the lighter pink on the same row as the gold shade, which is that light blue at the top where the hot pink is. This one, I'm trying to remember which one is it. I'm not actually sure which one this is. I'm pretty sure this is the purple at the bottom, and then I think this was the blue. So I swatched all of them out just to see which color worked the best, and I wasn't really feeling the sheerness of all of them. So I was like, I want one that's kind of pigmented, and then we'll go, you know, in with a more kind of like shifting one on top. But I started off with like the blue just because that's what I wanted. A nice base shade, if you will. And now we're going to take the mint shade and put that one on top of this. And then I took the pink shade at the bottom. So I took this one on top of that blue. I'm taking this one at the bottom, and then this is the one that's in our inner corner. So I'm like, I'll just blend up on here and work this out. But the reason I didn't necessarily want to just use this palette on its own, because I don't like the fact that it doesn't have that shade that's truly whatever color it's supposed to be, like it's in the Night Flower. So that's why I'm kind of just like, you know, because it doesn't give the true effect of what the shade is. And I'm fine with duochromes, multi-chromes, and all that. I like those, but it's just like, I had, you know how you have a vision in mind when you use the palette and then the vision doesn't come true because like the color isn't what it truly is. Like that's kind of what my thing is about the mint shade in this palette. It's like it's not giving true mint, and it kind of disappointed me because it wasn't giving true mint. I know they do multi-chromes and all that other stuff, and I like that about them, but like with that shade I was just hoping it was what it actually was supposed to be, and when it wasn't I was just like, oh, okay. So now I'm gonna take this gold shade and pop that in the inner corner. Now I'm trying to debate if I should do a wing or not, because it's like I don't have any colorful eyeliners over here, and I feel like a colorful eyeliner wing would be what would be fun in this look. So y'all know me, I gotta touch back up what I just feel like I somewhat covered up with glitter glue, just because on the other side I feel like it's more vibrant, because you know, we talked about it while I was doing it, how my eyes do different shapes. So when I cut the crease on one side, sometimes I feel like it covers up more of the matte shade that I put down on the other side, and I feel like you can see way more matte on this side than you can on this side. So I always feel like I end up having to touch it up after the fact to make them look even. So that's all I'm doing right now. Just the usual touching. Just the usual. Now we need to dig back into those two purples. So start off with the deeper one. I mean the lighter one. Then I'll go into a little bit of the deeper one. I don't feel like I need to do it with the back part though. I usually just feel like I need to do it at the very front to make it look even with this side. And then we need to go over the blue at the outer V, of course, to make the shimmer meshing more with the mask that are already there. So I might have to go over the back part again if I bring this blue up too high. But I just want to make sure that everything is looking as even as possible, because I gotta go outside and take these look at me. I think I'm sexy thumbnails for this video. I'm gonna try to get it to go up tonight, and just do another video another time, because y'all know me, I already got stuff pre-filmed, pre-set up to do, but you know, I wanna get this up soon. So I think I'll do this one today when I get home, and then I'll do some other content the other day. Y'all know I got the Natasha Denona concealers. I bought 2 colors because I wasn't sure which one I would like best, so I got, I think it's Y10, and then I got Y12. So one is like tan dark, and then the other one's like dark, but y'all know I like a certain type of concealer, so I thought I'd just get 2. Whichever one I don't use, I'll just take back to the store. So we'll see how it goes, but you know, 60 bucks is a lot for some concealer. But we'll be back, y'all know, and talk about my thoughts on the palette. So y'all know I love lethalcosmetics and I love their eyeshadow, so it's not anything wrong with the formula. It's just more of like, I would have preferred to have a more pigmented shimmer in the palette that didn't necessarily shift, that was true to color. And I was hoping that this would be it, and it was not, so I was just kind of like disappointed about that. But otherwise, I like the palette as a whole. I like the color story. I like the fact that they gave us a little light florally section this time, and then you got like your deeper section on the side, whereas y'all Night Flower is just all depth. Of lightest shade you get in here is the blue shade. So I appreciate the fact that they gave us more variety in this one. You get pinks and greens, and then some blues and some purples. So it's a little bit more variety. It's just everything is like shifting, and in the original Night Flower over the Wildflower, I feel like I had more pigmented shades that were like true to color. So that's my only gripe, and that's not like a huge gripe to have. It's just more of, you know, a preference type thing. So if you don't mind the shade shifting, or if you have a mint green shade in mind, you plan on using your collection from other palettes, since it's not going to be a true mint green like I was hoping, then that should be all fine and dandy then. But those are my thoughts on the palette. I like it. I think the formula is nice. I think it's a nice color story. I just wish that the mint green was a true mint green color and not a shifting one. But that's pretty much all I got. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.